Hello guys, Grsas here, and today I'm going to talk a little bit about Iggy. Iggy is a very low rated character. It's very low on every single tier list, and people are very discouraged to build him because he just doesn't seem very good. And I understand that because he's one of my first legendary characters. And when I first saw him, I tried him out, and I was like, this character sucks, right? Like, first of all, he looks a little bit derpy, okay? Not gonna lie, not the biggest fan of his design, but also his skills just doesn't seem very fun to play. Let's look at his trait. His trait, he gets jump, he gets some bonus attack, but the attack boost is doubled when he's in a highland position, attacking from a highland position. That's great, but he's a melee character, which means it's hard for him to like get that highland bonus. And also his first ability is Mountain Alert. Mountain Alert is basically alert that's 2 times 3, which does 150% damage, nice damage. But first of all, alert is not very fun to play around, especially with an alert this small. Like it's only 2 times 3. So like you just don't want to play him, especially early game. You can just walk up and just stab anyone to death easily with like Gloria or some other like cool SSR character. There's no need to run Iggy with his like alert, and it just doesn't seem very interesting. So I just wrote him off. But I decided to build him because I was like, you know what? I want to give him another shot. And you know what? In the showcase video that I gave Showcase Doctor, Showtime Doctor, and it was basically a video showcasing like alert fake out with like the Mega Melee crossbow. But people were interested in Iggy because I run Iggy in that game as well, and people thought he was doing a lot of damage and didn't know that he just hit that hard. So I just want to talk a little bit about some builds of Iggy. Iggy has 3 different builds. So the first build is a pure attack type build, which is what I'm running. The second build is like an off-turn damage build where you take his preempt, you use his alert, and then he has a very key ability. I'll just show you. Hunting preparation. He gets highland before attacking when it's not his turn, basically, and that is very crucial. He just gets his all his bonuses in, and he does a lot of damage. And the third build is you run support. He becomes like infection stacker. He supports the Vaders, and you just run him with like Nono Will, Lily Will, Momo, like the crew of like furries, and you just do infection stuff. So that's the 3 builds. I'm gonna talk about each of them now. First of all, I'll just talk about the most boring build, which is the Vader build. The Vader build, you take Horn of the Mountain, he gets some buffs. Most importantly, he gets that smooth one buff to all like the furry characters, and he also gives speed if they're within like the enemy's threat range, which is actually really good. Speed is a really good stat, and there's not many things that buff speed, so a speed increase is pretty good. Then he takes Luxite Dust Bomb if you're running Infection, obviously, because if you're not running Infection, I would not take this because it's a Castalia. You know, this thing is like very similar to like Luxite Shrapnel. The only difference it being you explode around yourself. It does it does like physical damage like to his ratio, right? 50%, not very much, but it inflicts move down, and he can move after it. So he can walk in, explode, walk away, and then like the enemies will not be able to chase him because their movement is like decreased. Second build, which I'll just talk about the off turn like damage build. With like first of all, he has his preempt. You want to run his preempt to do off turn damage, and then you run this very key ability. As I said, you gain 10% health when your turn ends, and then he gets like this hunting preparation, which basically gives him highland advantage before attacking anytime it's not his turn, because this ends at the start of his turn, his next turn. So this works very well with his reaction, that's a preempt, which is a strike back before taking an active attack. So he can potentially kill the enemy before they attack him. So hey, very good damage with like his alert, because his alert is like 2 mana. So if he kills someone with that, he regens 1 energy, and like he just gets his skill back, right? Like that's pretty simple. He So basically he hits you with like 220% multiplier with like the strike back and alert. Plus some bonuses you can run. You can run Mountain Tribes to increase the damage by 20% because it's from Highland. So that's also really good. And then so that's 1, 2, and alert 3. So that's like his 3 stuff. Like this thing, like at rank 5, you already got everything you need. So that build is very easy to do. I didn't do that because I already have alert fake out, so I wanted to do his like DPS build. So his DPS build, let's see. Okay, Mountain Tribes. I took Mountain Tribes to give him movement, and when he moves up and down more than 2 tiles, he gets 20% damage. You don't always get Highland, but you can always get this 20% damage increase. I took this skill because this is his only high multiplier skill before level 55. I did use a Castalia, but you know what? For Iggy, it's worth it. This ability, I took this instead of the alert build. This is Grey Wolf Sleep. He gets a jump, which is really nice. And very importantly, he gets crit damage 1, which increases crit damage by 15%. You'll understand why it's important later. For his reaction, I took Alertness of the Wolf. It gives him move 1, which is really good because once his first turn is over, he attacks someone, usually gets attacked, so he's no longer harmed. He loses this 1 movement, but he gains this movement. So like it just balances out. And he also gets damage reduction for 2 turns, so he's not as easy to kill. This makes him tankier than he seems, because I think one of the other issue with Iggy is that he's really squishy. Rank 7 ability, you don't really care. Basic attack replacement, I think if you're running basic attack replacements on Iggy, I think you just take energy because, energy is important, right? And his other skill, 10% extra multiplier, I don't know, just doesn't seem that big. Now for his final and best ability in his kit, Behemoth Hunting. This ability rocks. 170% damage multiplier, very high. If the target's max HP is higher than Iggy's max HP, so basically, he's a breaker, right? He's supposed to attack defenders. Defenders usually either have shield or has like a lot of max HP, so he basically always has this against the preferred class to attack against. And he gets to increase his crit by 60%. And he gets shield break, which is 30% extra attack when they have a shield and cannot be blocked. That is amazing. And that basically guarantees you a crit, and like that crit damage buff you get from Grey Wolf Sleep is used here. And then you probably want this to increase damage by another 20%, right? So that's probably the build I will run. I will run Mountain Tribes, Grey Wolf Leap, and Behemoth Hunting once I get 55. And now let's look at his build. His build is for like the attack build is very simple, right? My build, I run Nameless Staff for an extra movement and some extra crit if he moved no less than 3 tiles. I think Iggy has amazing movement from his jump. Like he can just run around. His passives, his like reaction. I just think he has a lot of movement. That's why I run this Nameless Staff. If you're running the other one where you're doing like the alert, Skeleton Spear, right? Oh, not Skeleton Spear, my bad. Pendant Halberd. Before taking a single target attack, he gets 10% bonus attack and defense for his like preempt. So his trinket True Lens on any build is amazing, except for like if you're using him as a tool. I just don't even want to talk about that. Like we'll just ignore that build for now. True Lens, amazing on both builds because he gets extra crit if he's attacking from Highland and increases his physical attack. He always gets Highland, so he always gets this crit increase if you're doing the react, like his like preempt alert build, so no problem with that. And also if he's doing Behemoth Slayer, He can sometimes get high land, so I just prefer to have this on him. And then finally, 15% crit, and if you get like the bonus line, which 15% crit damage, you almost always can take advantage of that with Behemoth Slayer. Very high damage. Sounds just absolutely amazing. That's why I use Iggy, basically. And before I end this video, I just want to show you how Iggy can move, because I think that's something that we ignored. Well, we talked about it a little bit, but you haven't seen this in action. Iggy gets to move a lot, and we just showcase it because let's just see. Okay, so let's just run Iggy, um, just him by himself. No nothing, just Iggy. So he gets 5 movement because of his like I took his like passive like mountain tribes and like his like so he can move 5 tiles and then he can jump another 3 tiles, right? That's actually pretty far already, right? I think that's pretty good. But in PvE content with like everything like with your like tactic points, with your tactic skills, and if you have Gloria, run her with like for like an extra 1 movement. I'll just show you how far he can go with like teleport and march command, okay? I know this isn't realistic. You don't have to do like this, but I just want to show you because I just thought it's like very fun. Okay, let's just do this. Boom. Let's walk over here. Grey Wolf leap all the way over here. Boom. Jump. That's pretty far. Oh, we get march command. Let's teleport you all the way over here. Boom. March command. Boom. Yeah, his damage isn't very like that damage is terrible, okay? Like that damage is terrible, but you see how far he can move. That's pretty amazing. And that's all I wanted to showcase is that his movement is pretty far. You can go one side of the map to the other side with like the tactic points and everything. And yeah, that's basically it. I don't think Iggy is like a must build character at all, but he's kind of fun and hey, maybe just mess around with him because might as well if you have him. And that's it for the video. If you liked, please like and subscribe. If you not, don't. I don't really care. Thank you all for watching very much, and bye-bye.